morning, YouTube. Well, today I'm on Roanoke Island in North Carolina. It's part of the Outer Banks. A lot of history in this area, so there's going to be a number of videos that I do about the area and history. But Roanoke Island, some of you may recognize the name as the site of the Lost Colony. In 1585, Sir Walter Raleigh sent over a group of, or a ship with some men to set up an outpost here. His idea was to, they wanted to have a spot where they could plunder Spanish ships. That particular venture pretty much ended in disaster when the military men, the colonists that were here, there was no women at the time, they weren't really diplomatic and created a real problem with the natives, and actually they thought that there was a plot to attack them, so they attacked first, killed the chief, cut off his head, and this pretty much sealed their fate. They actually, when the next ship came over, they left and went back to England. That first group went back with Sir Francis Drake and his three ships. In 1587, Sir Walter Raleigh sent over another group. This time it was a mix of men and women and children. And when they got here, they found the houses from the first group. Some were in ruins, some were just really bad shape. And so they actually wanted to settle up on Chesapeake Bay, which is just a little way north of here. But the captain of the ship said, "Nope, you're getting off here. It's too late in the summer, and I need to get back." So they were dumped here, and they struggled for a while. Of course, the natives were still ticked off from the first group, and so there wasn't a lot of help there, and but what they ended up doing was the guy who was an artist in the first group, John White, was the governor of this second tribe, and so he went back to England and to get more supplies. Trouble is, when he got back, it was the time of the Spanish Armada. All the English ships were pressed into service as military, and so he couldn't get back for 3 years. His granddaughter, Virginia Dare, was the first child of an English parents born in the New World. So this is a reconstruction of the earthworks from the spot that the first expedition had done, and it's, classic star kind of fort with spots for cannons and whatnot, but it was too small to hold the number of men that were here, so nobody's really sure what this was used for. They the reports that they did have a wooden stockade around where their houses were, but we still haven't found that. So one of the things they do here, just down from the reconstructed earthworks, is Waterside Theater and the Lost Colony, which is the longest running theatrical production in the country. It started back in the 30s and has run continuously since then. So let's take a look. Pretty cool outdoor theater. So when John White finally was able to get back here after 3 years, and he found the colonists were all gone. The houses were destroyed. There was a wooden palisade around the houses, also destroyed, the remnants of it. So nobody knows, what happened to them. The only clues were on a large tree with something just reconstructed. They scraped off the bark, and CRO. On a gate post there was Croatoan, I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, which is an island. It's down farther down by Cape Hatteras, and the deal was that if they had to leave, they were to leave something like this, a carving, to let people know where they were headed. If they carved a Maltese cross, it meant that they were under duress. That wasn't there. Trouble is, a storm came up. They weren't able to search, so nobody knows, and that's why it's the lost colony. All kinds of theories of what happened: disease, hurricanes. They were here for 3 years, through a couple of hurricane seasons, so that's possible. Diseases could have wiped them out. They starved to death. Nobody knows. The one guy at the visitor center said a guy came in with a whole genealogy thing, and he had traced it back. He'd been working on this since '74, and he found some of the names of the people that were in the colony actually bought land about 50 miles inland shortly after that. Same people with the same name, no way to prove it. So anyway, lots of theories, and I'll leave you with that. If you have any idea, if you get a chance, come on down here, check it out, or read up on the lost colony at Roanoke. Fascinating early history in the Americas.